Up to now, the stories I've shared with you were born from ancient pacts, from whispered legends and fears hidden in the folds of folklore. These were secrets guarded by communities, by families, by traditions. But there's another kind of secret, a more modern, colder, and perhaps more relentless type. Large industries, in their incessant search for resources, dig deeper than any explorer, map territories no government knows, and sometimes they find things that weren't on geological maps, anomalies that defy science and common sense. And when that happens, the protocol isn't superstition or prayer. It's a confidentiality agreement, a mass dismissal, a fabricated bankruptcy, silence bought with money and fear. The majority of monsters we discuss here are entities, spirits, anomalies. They are horrors that come from outside our understanding. But history teaches us that the most efficient, the most creative, and the cruelest monster is and always will be the human being. Today, we are going to talk about the archetype of the British monster, a man who transformed architecture into a weapon and hospitality into a deadly trap. The first great serial killer of the modern era, the Blackwood Butcher. In the late 19th century, in London, the butcher built a hotel that became known as the Murder Mansion, a labyrinth of over 100 rooms, with corridors that led nowhere, stairs that ended in walls, doors that only opened from the outside, and a basement equipped with crematoriums and acid pits. He wasn't just a killer. He was an artist of death. His story ended more than a century ago. But the legacy of a monster is sometimes a seed, an idea that lies dormant, waiting for the fertile ground of a new admirer's mind to sprout again. Good evening, or good morning. I am the Unseen Archivist. Today's investigation is about a group of documentary filmmakers who, fascinated by the story of the Blackwood Butcher, decided to produce the definitive film about his life. And, in their search, they received an invitation that seemed like a dream. An invitation to film in a perfect replica of the Murder Mansion. They went looking for the story of a killer, and they ended up becoming the protagonists of the sequel. What you will see today is the reconstruction of what happened based on the tapes they left behind. And before we check in, if you are also fascinated by the fine line that separates genius from monstrosity, leave your like to join the investigation team. And if you are not afraid to look the devil in the eye, subscribe to the Unseen Archivist channel and hit the bell. The doors of this hotel are closing, and there is no way out. Let's begin. The case revolves around the team of a small online true crime channel called Horror Archives. The first tapes I received introduce us to them in their small office, struggling to gain relevance. We have Arthur, the director, an older man, a smoker, desperate for the success that never came. He sees the documentary about the Blackwood Butcher as his last big chance.
Folks, this isn't just another serial killer film. This is about the architect of evil, the origin of British horror. We have to do this right.
We have Eleanor, the presenter, an investigative journalist, intelligent, and the face of the show. She's the driving force behind the research. We have Tom, the cameraman, and Laura, the sound and lighting technician. The pragmatic couple of the group, more concerned with technical quality than with legends. And, finally, Chloe, the young audio intern, eager to learn but visibly scared by the grim subject. The tapes show the team in crisis. Funding for the documentary has run out. They're about to give up. They're at their most vulnerable. And that's when the phone rings. The recording of the call is the turning point. A calm, polite, and strangely artificial voice introduces itself as the representative of a man named Grant Dubois.
Mr. Arthur Law, my employer, Mr. Dubois, follows your work with great interest. He learned of your difficulties with the documentary about the Blackwood Butcher and would like to make a proposal.
The proposal is unbelievable. Dubois, described as a reclusive billionaire and architecture collector, inherited a private island in one of the Scottish lochs, and on it he has spent the last decade building an exact, full-scale replica of the murder mansion. A functional replica with all the secret passages and traps. He invites the team to be the first and only ones to film on location. All expenses paid. The only condition, they must go alone and surrender their mobile phones upon arrival to ensure isolation and exclusivity. The team debates. It's too good to be true. Red flags are everywhere, but the opportunity to film in such a setting, to save the project and perhaps achieve fame. It's an irresistible lure.
This is crazy, Robert. A reclusive billionaire with a replica murder hotel on a deserted island? What's the chance this isn't a trap? Robert's voice.
It's our only chance, Eleanor. It's the perfect setting. It's what will set us apart. We're going.
The decision is made. The following tapes show the team's journey. The ferry ride to the island on a cloudy and gray day. And the first sight of the hotel. An imposing, sinister, Victorian structure. A perfect copy of 19th century engravings. A lighthouse guides them to the island, and the lighthouse keeper, a strange man of few words, leaves them at the pier with a final warning. Beware of Mr. Dubois. He likes to watch. The first hours inside the hotel are of a morbid fascination. The recordings show the team exploring the rooms, the reception, the guest rooms, everything recreated with obsessive perfection. The host, Dubois, does not appear. He communicates through letters and frightening animatronics, figures of the Blackwood Butcher and his victims that move and speak with recorded voices. The team feels a bit uncomfortable, but the excitement of filming in such a place overcomes the fear. They begin to record scenes for the documentary. Here begins what truly frightens. During a recording in the dining room, the lights go out. And when they come back on, the doors to the hall are locked. And they realize they are not alone. A figure wearing a bowler hat, like the butcher's, is seen quickly passing through a corridor. They realize the truth. They are not guests. They are rats in a laboratory. And the mad scientist has begun his experiment. The walls begin to move. Corridors that were there disappear. New doors emerge. The hotel is a mechanical labyrinth, and it is actively separating the group. Panic sets in. The cinematic expedition has become a survival reality show, and the director is a killer. From here, the recovered tapes are fragments of hell. Each team member, now separated, is forced to navigate the murder mansion, while the new Blackwood butcher, the masked figure they now call Dubois, hunts them through his network of secret passages and observes them through hidden cameras. The narrative becomes a succession of deadly traps, each more sadistic than the last. The tape from Chloe's camera, the intern, shows her trapped in a hermetically sealed room. She is with Arthur. A recorded voice announces that oxygen is being removed from the room, and that there is only one oxygen mask. Arthur, in an act of cowardice, tries to steal it. Chloe's camera records the desperate fight for air before falling to the floor. Laura's recording shows her in a labyrinth of corridors, being pursued by an animatronic of the Blackwood butcher with a hatchet. She needs to solve an electrical puzzle to lock the doors and escape, while the mechanical figure approaches closer and closer. The most terrible scene involves Eleanor and Tom. They are trapped in separate glass chambers. Dubois forces them into a deadly game. He tells Eleanor that Tom's chamber will fill with poisonous gas unless she presses a button that will reverse the flow, filling her own chamber. An impossible choice transmitted to the other screens in the hotel, so that the other survivors can watch the despair. They realize they are not just being hunted, they are being filmed. Their deaths, their moments of terror, are the killer's masterpiece. He is not just a successor to the butcher. He is a director of snuff films, and they are his cast. The last tapes show the few survivors regrouping, wounded and traumatized, trying to find a way off the island. They reach the lighthouse, where they discover the killer's control center, a room full of monitors showing every room of the hotel, and they discover his identity. Grant Dubois, in fact, was a former MI5 agent who specialized in serial killer profiling, and who became so obsessed with the butcher's mind that he decided to surpass him, becoming the monster he studied so much. The final recording is of the desperate escape on the ferry, with the hotel burning in the background. But Dubois, like the great villains of cinema, always comes back for one last scare. The camera falls during the final struggle on the boat. Their fate remains open. The case of the horror archives leaves us with an uncomfortable question about our own culture. We are fascinated by true crime. We turn killers into celebrities, dissect their methods, consume their stories as entertainment. To what extent does this fascination with evil not end up inspiring and creating new monsters? By giving fame and a legacy to past killers, are we not ourselves helping to write the script and cast for those of the future? Leave your opinion in the comments. It's an important reflection. If this investigation into the thin line between fan and fanatic made you think, subscribe to the Unseen Archivist channel and hit the bell. Thank you for accompanying me in this anthology of horrors. It was a season of incredible discoveries about the different forms that fear can take. And for the future, I have a new list of cases to investigate. But this time, I want you to decide. What kind of mystery do you want me to unravel next? A British folklore horror, a scientific conspiracy case, a cosmic mystery? Leave your suggestions in the comments. The future of the channel is in your hands. Thank you for watching every tape, every diary, every report. The investigation never stops. Until next time.